So we're here with Drew Sadler today. Drew, what we're going to go through today is a very important part of having a successful day on the lake, and we're going to talk a little bit about cleaning and maintaining these reels. Let's get started and tell us the equipment needs that we're going to have here.
Yeah, the main things you're going to need is just a Phillips head screwdriver. Mine's kind of fancy, it's electric, but I also have just a regular manual one here. You will need a wrench or pliers will work. This is a 10 millimeter. This is to take off the nut underneath this cap here. You'll need your grease. This is Shimano reel grease. You'll need some Q-tips and a toothbrush, and that's really all you'll need for a casting or a spinning reel.
And a couple of napkins to remove some grit and grime.
Absolutely. And so one of the first things you want to do to a casting reel, or particularly a Shimano Corrado, and most of the Shimano reels are going to be somewhat similar. You have your brakes inside here, and then on the other side you have your brass raceway. And so all you want to do is take the Shimano oil that comes in your Shimano reel box, put one drop on the end of a Q-tip, and we'll simply clean these brakes off. These are the brake shoes that will make contact with your brass raceway on the inside here. And so we'll rub in a circular motion around that brass raceway. So from there, we will take our spool out.
And tell us a little bit why that, obviously you've got tape on here. You've taped this up to keep that line from coming out because it's a very precision fit.
Absolutely, your gap there, it's really tight. So you want to make sure to put some tape on your spool to make sure to protect whatever line you have on the reel.
Otherwise, you're pretty much going to end up removing this line and having to re-spool it.
Absolutely. We'll take a Q-tip and we want to remove a majority of the cotton on the end of it to make sure it fits through there. We'll run that through to make sure that's not, and you can see some of the dirt that came off that, so you're getting out what needs to come out. And so that's all you really need to do on the spool side of the reel. So we'll start with the other side of the reel. So on this Shimano Corrado, there are 3 on this side. There's one on your handle and one on this back side right here. We want to make sure that we're laying everything out in the exact order that's come off the reel. And you can use your star drag to remove this this nut right here. You can just put it on top of it.
Oh, nice. Tools included.
Absolutely. These washers, they have to come off in the exact same order that they're on the reel. And you'll see that these 2 washers are concave and they need to go back on the reel the exact same way.
Now what you're taking off here is this is the magnetic control.
This is your spool tensioner.
Spool tensioner.
Yep.
So. I'm glad to watch you do this because I've taken apart some other reels. I actually have one of these Corrados, and I've had it for about a year. It's about time for me to clean it myself.
So guys, we have the screws off in this reel, and you have 3 screws on this side, and you have 1 right here on the back. So this side plate is tensioned, so you see I'm keeping my fingers on this. It is tensioned by springs, so don't remove your hands from this until you're ready to pull the side plate off. And so we will remove the side plate, and just note, inside, this is your anti-reverse bearing. It has a sleeve inside of it. We'll pull that sleeve out, and do note that sleeve has 2 teeth on it, and you'll see that on the inside of this, on the spool shaft, that's where it engages. So this is your anti-reverse bearing right in here. That needs to be cleaned out. Your gears, we need to remove the old grease off those gears and put new grease on them. So we'll take one of our rags here, and we're just going to put this to where we can fit it through, get some of that old stuff off there. And so we have our sleeve here, and we're just going to kind of rub that off with a paper towel. And so from here, what we want to do is we want to take these springs off, and remember how everything is on this reel, and so we can put it all back on the same way.
To be honest with you, with today's technology, when you get to this point, if you're a little intimidated by it, take your cell phone, just take a snapshot of it.
Absolutely.
Get you a picture of it because you can't get a picture of it once you take everything apart.
Absolutely. So. And now we're just going to take this, we're going to get the old grease off the gears. These are your drag washers, and again, they have to go back in the same exact way. And this is where we'll take a Q-tip and we'll use some rubbing alcohol. Same thing on the other side. And so we'll take our toothbrush and now we'll try to get any debris or old grease out of here. We're gonna go ahead and rub this with our shop rag just to make sure everything is off this gear and it's nice and clean. We're gonna do the same thing with our pinion gear here. You want your toothbrush to move in that angle.
So going around it a couple times at different angles with your toothbrush will probably assure you get all the grime out.
Okay, so now we want to service our drag washers. So again, just note the same order they come apart. We'll rub that off with a shop rag here. We want to look inside the reel and see if there's any other areas where we can remove any dirt or old grease that has some dirt in it. Okay, so let's just start putting grease on things. We're going to use this grease both on the drag and on the gears. And the thing with grease is a little bit goes a long ways. You don't want to put too much in there. That'll really slow your reel down. And so for the gears, I just like to get a little bit on my finger.
Grease, is it not?
Right, and so what I'll do is I'll try to distribute grease over, say, a third of the gear. So we'll just rub this onto the washer here. And the same with our other drag washer. And here where your thumb bar goes up and down, you'll want to put a tiny bit of grease right there, as well as on this where your pinion gear sit. Okay, so and so now that our gears are back together, let's just go ahead and turn those a few times and you'll see that grease start to work its way in.
And if you don't really want to take on this project, which, it's a fun project to know your equipment in and out, you can also send them back to the manufacturer and they'll be glad to do that.
You can bring it right here to the cane pole and have them serviced here. If there is Shimano reel, you can certainly send them back to the factory and they will take care of any issues you have then.
Well, Drew, I really appreciate it.
Thanks again, Chad.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming down and showing us how to work this out.